We're deep into the Attitude Era run of WrestleManias now, and with all the fabid, fan reaction and public hangings that those entail. Sex, violence, chaos, and all the sinful goodness that free-spirited late 90s broadcasting would gleefully allow. However, as intoxicating as it all was, the stories were a bit more rushed, the ideas were a bit more far-fetched, and the title changes were a bit far too frequent. But who cares? The WWF was king in 1999, beating WCW into the dust. WrestleMania 15 is a show that in any other time would have been panned as ridiculous and largely unsatisfying, but in 1999 it was so wildly popular it could do no wrong. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 fascinating facts about WrestleMania 15. Number 10, Billy Gunn wasn't comfortable working the hardcore style. For the weeks building up to WrestleMania 15, Billy Gunn, before his ground floor reboot into a man who had a keen on for butts, was feuding with Val Venus, Ken Shamrock, and Goldust in a story that included the Intercontinental title and Shamrock's sister Ryan. Road Dogg, meanwhile, was firmly entrenched in the hardcore title scene, working with Al Snow and had a storyline beef with Hardcore Holly, who caused him to forfeit the belt after an attack. And then, swerve! Dogg defeated Venus for the Intercontinental belt on Raw weeks before Mania, and Gunn beat Holly for the Hardcore title the same night. The Outlaws basically swapped places in their respective WrestleMania title bouts, despite there being little story connection to their new opponents, but never mind. Holly remembers that Gunn wasn't happy at all with the abrupt switch and didn't care for the debris-laden hardcore style, as he felt like, quote, a fish out of water. But hey, you know, swerve! Number 9, Bart Gunn was forbidden from doing takedowns on Butterbean. On the surface, winning the unscripted 1998 Brawl for All, which was basically a precursor to bum fights, was supposed to result in a considerable push for Bart Gunn and his lethal left-handed punches. Instead, he was removed from television for months, which some attribute to Jim Ross being upset with Gunn for legitimately KOing JR's friend Steve Dr. Death Williams, for who the tournament was essentially designed as a breakout vehicle. Then, at WrestleMania, Gunn was talked into a Brawl for All match with punchy thumb Butterbean. However, Gunn was then told that Butterbean only agreed to the fight if amateur takedowns were forbidden. Thus, Gunn would have to straight up box a man known for his frightening knockout power. Gunn tried, but only succeeded in becoming a WrestleMania moment for all the wrong reasons. Number 8, it marked Gorilla Monsoon's final appearance. Monsoon was the voice of the first 8 WrestleManias, in addition to general WWF programming throughout the 80s and early 90s. Despite being a renowned super heavyweight wrestler that headlined Madison Square Garden in his day, Monsoon was arguably best known as kindly authoritarian narrator of Hulkamania and Macho Madness. Monsoon's last appearance for the company took place at WrestleMania 15, where he presided as one of the judges for the Brawl for All contest. Once introduced by Howard Finkel, Monsoon received a rousing and much-deserved ovation from the Philadelphia crowd. 19 years earlier, Monsoon had lost what was nominally his retirement match to Ken Patera at the Philadelphia Spectrum. It was fitting that his final public appearance before his passing 6 months later took place in the city of brotherly love. Number 7, Luna was Sable's likely opponent before being suspended. 1 year after hand-holding Sable through an impressive mixed tag match, it appeared that Luna Vachon would be tasked with working a magic once more at WrestleMania 15 for Sable's Women's Championship. This time, the roles would be reversed. Sable was now playing an egotistical A-list celebrity, while Luna crossed over into the role of gritty but sympathetic every woman that had to work harder than Sable to earn her success. It wasn't meant to be, however, as Vachon was suspended indefinitely in early March 1999. Whilst most sources claim that Luna had gotten into a backstage altercation with Sable herself, Dave Meltzer had written that Luna challenged Sable's then-husband Mark Mero to a scrap backstage at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and also reported were confrontations with Jacqueline and veteran road agent Jack Lanza. Number 6, WrestleMania 15 marked Sean Waltman's first Mania match. It's really hard to believe. After performing in a run of tryout matches in the days following WrestleMania 9, it took 6 years for the 1-2-3 Kid /6 X-Pac to finally get a chance to shine on the grandest stage of them all. The road to his eventual match with Shane McMahon for the European title wasn't without its share of detours. Waltman was due to perform in a 10-man tag at WrestleMania 10, which was scrapped for time reason. Hey, thanks, Sean and Razor. Kisses! A year later, Waltman worked WrestleMania 11, but only as a cornerman of Razor Ramon. In 1996, Kid was buried deeper into the mid-card and had zero to do with WrestleMania 12. He returned to WWF literally the day after WrestleMania 14, thus it wouldn't be until 1999, 6 whole years after he worked his first match with the company, that X-Pac finally received his Mania debut. Number 5, Shane trained extensively under Dr. Tom Pritchard for his match. Depending on your taste, Shane McMahon's match with X-Pac could very well have been the second best match of the night, though to be fair, it wasn't a strong WrestleMania. A huge chunk of credit for the success of the match should go to X-Pac, who's long been heralded for his knack of carrying lesser opponents through his timing and expert bumping, but Shane McMahon certainly held his own for a virtual novice, thanks to the rigorous efforts of his trainer, Dr. Tom Pritchard. The Doctor of Desire apparently worked with McMahon on a daily basis, beginning in late February to get him ready for the match. Given that Pritchard had a huge hand in the development of superstars like Kurt Angle and The Rock, it's less of a surprise that McMahon looked as good as he did. Number 4, Big Boss Man's hanging was made possible with a hidden harness. In 1999, the Big Boss Man fed somebody their cooked dog, took part in a steel cage match where dogs urinated around ringside, and dragged a man's father's coffin behind his car after crashing the funeral. Oh, and he was also hanged by a ritualistic cult before 20,000 witnesses. You're a weird dude, Big Boss. After, let's be honest, one of the worst Hell in a Cell matches ever with The Undertaker, Bossman was murdered in front of everyone, hanged with a noose. Many have wondered how the effect was achieved since it looked pretty realistic. Well, attached to the noose was a hook that subtly attached to a harness that was concealed beneath Bossman's flak jacket. Thus, when the noose pulled him up from the mat, it was actually the hook pulling the harness up, which applied zero pressure to Bossman's neck and throat. It's a method used in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes film, which, fun fact, was actually a shot-for-shot remake of WrestleMania 15. Number 3, Michael Cole accidentally revealed the main event finish in advance. Anyone that bet on The Rock defeating Stone Cold in the WWF Championship match deserved to lose their money. While the ending was hardly in doubt, Cole, doing his best to fill in for JR throughout all but the main event, inadvertently let the cat out of the bag for any blissfully naive viewers. As Hell in a Cell was lowering for the penultimate match, Cole informed viewers about the Home Shopping Network's post-show, where you could hear comments from the quotes, "new WWF champion." The remark was edited off future releases of the show, including the network version, Silly Cole. Number 2, Vince Russo claims that Mick Foley was supposed to be in the main event. According to the former WWE writer known in some circles as the Antichrist of pro wrestling, Vince Russo had pitched an idea to Vince McMahon for a triple threat main event at WrestleMania, pitting Rock against Austin and Mankind for the belt. Russo took up for Foley out of sheer respect for his beyond the call of duty efforts, especially in the previous year. Foley wouldn't have won, but Russo argued he deserved to be part of the main event. McMahon apparently signed off on the idea, but as Russo tells it, Shawn Michaels persuaded Austin against the plan, who went to McMahon, and the match was changed to a one-on-one. And number 1, Stone Cold became the only man to capture the WWE title at consecutive WrestleManias. Austin's third WWF Championship reign kicked off after an anarchic main event with The Rock, easily the best match of the night. In taking the belt once more, Austin dethroned the reigning champion at Mania for the second straight year, something that no wrestler had done before. The only Manias where Hulk Hogan had won the belt were 5, 7, and 9. John Cena has won the belt at 3 different WrestleManias, but they were 21, 26, and 29. In fact, Austin is the only man to pull off this feat with the WWF Championship when it comes to back-to-back Manias. Undertaker did it with the World Heavyweight title at 23-24, but that's a different belt, so bite me. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here, and you can follow Justin Henry, the man who wrote these articles, on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.
This Monday, when WCPW returns to London, Bad Bones versus the #1 contender for the WCPW Championship, Rampage. Kaylee Ray gets her chance at revenge as she takes on Viper. The ambassador of British wrestling, Doug Williams, versus the Kiwi buzzsaw, Travis Banks. And the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, will defend his WCPW Internet Championship against a mystery opponent. WCPW proudly presents Chain Reaction. See it in person March 13th. Tickets available at wc.pw/London. Watch Chain Reaction exclusively on WhatCulture Extra from March the 17th.